YouTube, it's Tone back with another one for you, and this one today is a continuation of Meet Your Strawman 6. In this one, we get into registration, talking about vehicle registration and all that shit. Now, one thing you got to know is that the word Regis has to do with royalty, kings, monarchies, and shit like that. So anytime you hear the fucking word Regis, like such as registration, know that what you're really doing is forfeiting your fucking right to any of that shit over to whatever registry that you're signing it up with. Right? So this is why they can tow your car and all that shit, is because it's registered. You can make a record of your car with the county and shit like that, a record of ownership and things like that. It's totally different than that. But there's different ways to go about different things based on what you want to do. You can make your own bond. You don't gotta have fucking insurance. Make your own bond against the bond that we all already have, and things like that too as well. So we're gonna go slow, and I'm not even offering any of those services. I'm just letting you know that those are all options that are on the table, not options that I offer, but somebody fucking does, and it is a thing. I do have templates to shit like that. If you guys need any of them, let me know. So let's get right into this shit. Let's get right into this. So right here, registration. Most people believe that when they buy a new car that they have to register it with the commercial company known as the Department of Motor Vehicles. No, you don't. What very few people are aware of is the fact that the act of applying for registration confirms the transfer, the physical ownership of the vehicle from you to the purchaser who paid the money to the state. That is. And you know that because when you look at your title, it has the state's name on it. It's in a trust that the state has. So the state's gonna fucking make investments and things like that based on the value of the items that it has in the trust. And so it makes you think that you have to register all your fucking property with it. You don't. But when you do that, what you do is put your shit into their trust, which makes you then at that point not just a user of the vehicle, but so you don't own it anymore at that point. You're just a mere user, which means that a few things. So one of them is that the state is going to be liable for all the fucking costs associated with operating that vehicle, because they're the fucking real owner if it's inside the state trust. It ain't even yours. So you can write all that shit the fuck off, because they're the ones that are liable for it. You could, even if you really wanted to, charge them a fee for operating their vehicle if they want to be stupid about shit. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that you can do. So that is, you have given the vehicle away to a commercial company who has done nothing at all for you, and which does not have your best interest at heart. Since it is unlawful to swindle anyone, I would be most interested to hear any reason why this registration should not be deemed to be unlawful, blatant, and obvious fraud, for there has not been full disclosure to the silent and adhesive contract terms associated with this registration. The change of ownership is shown by the fact that your previous owner are now sent a document stating that your strawman is now the registered owner of the vehicle which you have bought. You are left to pay for the maintaining the vehicle which you do not own, and which the actual owner will seize and sell the vehicle, which costs him nothing if you, as an agent of the registered owner, do not keep on paying for the use of the vehicle. You see how that shit works? Bunch of fucking games. So that's something to just keep in mind next time you go to fucking register your fucking car and shit, right? Like if you fucking have to. So seizing the vehicle would not be lawful if the vehicle did not belong to the company doing the seizing. The vehicle will be seized if the registration tax is not paid. That tax was originally introduced as a fund contributed to by the vehicle drivers in order to build new roads and to maintain roads that exist. That was a reasonable idea, which meant that all your roads in the country belong to the people who paid for the money to have them built and repaired. Local authorities say that they can't maintain roads properly as they do not have sufficient funds to do the work. The charge is more for vehicles of larger sizes on the excuse that they burn more fuel and contribute more to global warming, and the potholes in the road and shit like that too. So the real purpose for the increase is to take more money from people who have no idea what's going on. There is even a proposal now that motorists be charged for every mile that they drive along the roads which they paid for and they own. Ha ha! Yeah, right, bro. So that, of course, is not the only stream of income from vehicles. Now we went through the definition of vehicle and automobile in the Right to Travel video. Check that video out if you haven't seen it. It goes into the definition of vehicle, automobile, travel, operator, and driver, and all that shit. that the words that these motherfuckers love to throw around but do not have definitions for. They're all in the Right to Travel video. Check them out. A major source of income is from the massive tax on fuel for vehicles, and it has been stated that an incredible 65% of the selling price of the proportion which is not needed for the location, extraction, processing, and delivery of actual fuel. And another side note about gas, you know that they call that shit fossil fuel in order to instill a idea of scarcity with it, when in all reality oil is the second most plentiful fluid and coming from the earth, second to water. So it's water, and fuel is the most abundant form of and any oil fields that ever got drilled and all that shit, they just cap them up and they go back and they fucking pump them back out later. They never fucking run dry. Them shits don't run dry. They just cap them up when they're done making their billions. You know what I'm saying? Come on. That shit's a game. So in passing, it can be noted that vehicles can run on water, compressed air, energy direct from the environment, permanent magnets, and even on gravity. And that's another thing too. Gravity's a fucking lie, just so you know. Even the theory of relativity is a fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you introduce E equals MC squared and all that shit, that's just a theory of relativity, theory of gravity. Those are all theories. The one common denominator between everything in this fucking realm is the electromagnetism. And that's all that fucking exists. Everything else is fucking complete bullshit. And when you introduce a magnet into any of these fucking equations that these people swear to God and live by, the whole shit is fucking thrown out the window. Alright? So as soon as you enter a magnet, which is zero, into the fucking, which is infinite fucking potential in either direction, at any point, always, all of those theories are out the window. So think about that. So it will, with doubt, be a shock to your family that many of the inventors who have done this suddenly disappeared as soon as they started testing their prototypes. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this, is that a lot of these people that fucking supposedly disappeared for trying to bring out, vehicles powered by water and the free energy shit and all that, those are their shills. So they bring these shills out to halfway tell you a truth, and then they kill them off to make you think that if you come out and start doing it, that you're somehow going to end up missing and shit like that. I guarantee you these pussies ain't going to do shit. These pussies will not do shit if you come out with what the fuck you want to come out with. The problem is this, is that if you want to start doing shit privately, you can do that. If you want to register one of your items or apply for a patent, then guess who owns it when you apply for a patent? It's them. So then, yeah, then they can come confiscate your shit and throw you in jail for not following the rules and shit like that. But you can do whatever the fuck you want in the private. As soon as you start trying to market that shit in a commercial setting, then you're going to have to go based on what the rules of commerce go by. You see how that shit works? But I guarantee you none of these motherfuckers really died like that. They're fucking killing off fake people to make you think that you can't do this shit. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Fuck these people. Straight up. So, as soon as they start testing their prototypes, far-fetched, I know of 5 people who have been told to cease and desist or else, right? And this can only happen if you're operating in a commercial setting or a commercial venue, is when they'll even be able to do that shit to you. So can that happen? Yeah. And does it? Probably, but it's only as soon as they start trying to bring it out into the public and shop it as a commercial item in a commercial venue. So when you understand that billions and billions in profit that are being made through selling oil products, actions like that become very understandable, especially when the people who do these things own the police forces and courts and know that there will be no comeback no matter what they do. And yes, there will be comeback. So what about the driver's licenses? Under common law, humans have the right to travel freely, and that includes using a vehicle when traveling. The legalese people want to persuade you that you are no longer a traveler under common law, but instead you are a driver, subject to the statutes, and that they demand that a driver must have a driver's license, registration, tax, car insurance, and anything else that they can think of. If you wish to live in freedom that somebody asks to see your license, then the question is, why would I want one of those? Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. A driver's license is only needed for the driver of a vehicle which is being used in commerce. That's a motherfucking fact. So it can be argued that transporting a strawman in a commercial undertaking, so it would be advisable to not have anything related to a strawman with you on the road. It is also important to not give your name, address, supposed date of birth, or show any form of ID that places you in a position of voluntary submission, right? And so I always use a passport. And I never, I don't have any fucking problems with that, because what the fuck are they gonna do, bro? And I'm not giving them my address because it's none of their fucking business, okay? So it ain't a crime to fucking not give a stranger your address. I was raised better than that, and I'm not a fucking idiot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Come on, get the fuck out of here. So, if you are not carrying a passenger who is paying for the journey, and you are not stopping off on the journey to sell things, and you are not transporting a strawman, then you are not a driver with a passenger, but instead a traveler with a guest. Travelers do not need a driver's license. And that's a fact. Anybody who thinks I'm wrong on here, I challenge you to go open a fucking dictionary and shut the fuck up. Alright? Go ahead and read read a dictionary and study the law. Because the only person who would ever have a problem with what the fuck I'm saying right now is somebody who never studied law. And what the fuck relevance would they even have speaking around grown-ass men when we're talking about law over here? So shut the fuck up and go read. Period. So, it is a game of chess. Stop playing checkers with these fucking assholes. That's what I got for you for now. Until we meet again.